Arav was a young man who, like many of us, often felt lost in the whirlwind of life. He lived in a bustling city, surrounded by people, responsibilities, and constant distractions. Despite having a stable job and a supportive family, Arav felt something was missing. His life felt monotonous, as though he was going through the motions without any real sense of purpose. One day, after a particularly exhausting week at work, Arav decided to take a walk in the park. As he sat on a bench watching children play and elderly couples enjoy the calmness of the evening, he began reflecting on his life. "Why do I feel so stuck?" he wondered. It was in this moment of solitude that Arav resolved to make a change, to work on himself. Arav realized that he had spent too much time trying to meet others' expectations, his boss, his family, his friends, but never his own. He decided to prioritize himself for the first time. It wasn't easy. Saying no to extra tasks at work and setting boundaries with friends felt uncomfortable at first. But as Arav focused on self-improvement, reading books, exercising, and learning new skills, he began to feel a sense of fulfillment he hadn't felt in years. Arav's journey wasn't smooth. There were days when he doubted himself, when progress seemed slow and the future felt uncertain. But he reminded himself that growth wasn't about reaching a destination, it was about the journey. Each day became an opportunity to learn, whether through success or failure. He started keeping a journal to record his thoughts, victories, and lessons learned. Slowly, he began appreciating the highs and lows of life as essential parts of his growth. As Arav grew, he noticed some people in his life weren't as supportive as he thought. Certain friends seemed to belittle his efforts or discourage his goals. It was hard, but Arav began setting boundaries. He stopped sharing his dreams with people who didn't believe in him and distanced himself from toxic relationships. By doing this, he protected his peace and created space for positivity to enter his life. Arav understood that real change required consistency. He started small, committing to daily habits like a morning walk, mindful breathing, and reading for 20 minutes. At first, these habits felt insignificant, but over time, they became the building blocks of a more disciplined and productive life. When Arav faced setbacks, like failing a professional exam he had studied for, he was tempted to give up, but he reminded himself to trust the process. Every step, even the difficult ones, is part of my growth, he thought. By focusing on his long-term vision and learning from his mistakes, Arav kept moving forward, confident that things would work out in time. As Arav progressed, he started valuing experiences more than material possessions. Instead of spending his money on gadgets or luxury items, he saved for a trip to the mountains. There, surrounded by nature's grandeur, he felt truly alive. The memories he created on that trip became far more valuable than anything he could buy. Arav also began working on his mindset. He realized how often his own negative thoughts had held him back. By practicing mindfulness and focusing on his strengths, he trained his mind to see opportunities instead of obstacles. He stopped seeking validation from others and embraced his uniqueness. Arav no longer felt the need to prove himself. He knew his worth. As Arav grew, he started enjoying moments of solitude. He spent time reflecting on his goals, realigning his priorities, and simply being present with himself. What once felt like loneliness became a powerful opportunity for self-discovery. Over time, Arav made his fair share of mistakes. He invested in a business idea that failed, hurt a close friend with a careless comment, and missed opportunities due to fear. But instead of letting these mistakes define him, he saw them as lessons. Each misstep taught him something new about himself and his journey. Arav also recognized the importance of meaningful connections. He deepened his relationships with the people who truly cared for him, his parents, a few close friends, and his mentor at work. He learned to give as much as he received, cherishing the support and love that these relationships brought into his life. Finally, Arav embraced patience and faith. He understood that everything takes time, whether it's personal growth, career success, or finding love. Instead of rushing or comparing himself to others, he trusted the journey and believed in his efforts. Years later, Arav's life looked very different. He wasn't just successful in his career. He was content, confident, and at peace. His journey wasn't about perfection but progress. Looking back, Arav realized that the lessons he had learned weren't just about achieving success. They were about building a fulfilling life. And so, Arav's story reminds us of this. When you prioritize yourself, embrace the journey, set boundaries, build habits, trust the process, value experiences, strengthen your mind, know your worth, embrace solitude, learn from mistakes, nurture relationships, and practice patience, you unlock the potential to live a life of growth, resilience, and joy. What will your story be? Life is like a vast ocean, unpredictable and ever-changing. One moment, the waves of joy lift you high, and the next, storms of challenges pull you under. Amidst this constant flow, have you ever stopped to ask yourself, who am I really living for? So often, we spend our days trying to meet others' expectations, our families, our friends, societies, only to feel drained and disconnected. The truth is, the most crucial responsibility you have is to prioritize yourself. Let me be clear, this is not about selfishness. It's about self-respect. It's about ensuring that your life's foundation is strong enough to weather any storm. Think about it. How many times have you put your own needs on hold because you didn't want to disappoint someone else? Maybe you skipped that gym session because a colleague needed help finishing a project, or you gave up a dream because it didn't fit someone else's plan for your life. What did that leave you with? Frustration, exhaustion, maybe even resentment. Prioritizing yourself doesn't mean abandoning others. It means showing up for yourself first so you can better support those around you. When you focus on your growth, you unlock a life filled with purpose, confidence, and peace. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. But here's the catch. Life is not a straight line. It's a winding road, full of unexpected detours and potholes. And this brings me to the second principle, embracing the journey, not just the destination. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to think ahead. Plan your career, save for the future, achieve this milestone. But in this rush, how often do we pause to appreciate where we are right now? Consider this. Some of the most significant moments in your life have likely been unplanned. Maybe it was a conversation with a stranger that led to a lifelong friendship, or a job rejection that pushed you toward a better opportunity. At our lowest points, when life feels unbearable, we gain the most clarity about who we are and what we truly value. It's in these moments of vulnerability that we find resilience. The beauty of life lies not in controlling its outcomes, but in trusting its process. Remember, some of the best days of your life haven't happened yet. So why dwell on what went wrong or fear what might come? Focus instead on making today count. As you navigate this journey, there's another essential principle to keep in mind: setting boundaries to protect your energy. In a world that glorifies being busy and accessible 24/7, this might feel counterintuitive. But think about it. How many times have you felt drained because you said yes when you should have said no? Maybe it was agreeing to a social event when all you needed was rest, or allowing someone's negativity to cloud your peace. Not everyone in your life has your best interests at heart. Some people, knowingly or unknowingly, drain your energy and hinder your growth. Setting boundaries isn't about shutting people out. It's about preserving your well-being. It's okay to say no. It's okay to distance yourself from toxic relationships. When you let go of negativity, you create space for positivity to thrive. Staying lucky, sharing less, and keeping parts of your life private doesn't make you secretive. It makes you wise. Imagine a garden. If you allow weeds to grow unchecked, they'll choke the life out of your flowers. Your mind and soul are no different. Protecting your energy is like tending to that garden, removing what doesn't serve you so that you can flourish. In conclusion, life's challenges will never cease, but how you approach them is entirely in your hands. Prioritize yourself, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. Embrace life's unpredictable journey, trusting that every twist and turn has something to teach you. And set boundaries to safeguard your peace and energy, because your growth depends on it. Have you ever noticed how small actions, repeated consistently, can lead to big changes? Imagine planting a seed. You water it daily, nurture it with sunlight, and over time, it grows into a strong, flourishing tree. This is the power of habits, the foundation of the fourth principle. It's not the grand gestures or one-time efforts that shape our future, but the small, deliberate actions we take every single day. Think about your own life. What habits are shaping your journey? Are they moving you closer to your goals or pulling you further away? For instance, if your goal is to improve your health, do you choose a quick, unhealthy snack because it's convenient, or do you take the extra time to prepare something nourishing? The difference may seem insignificant in the moment, but over weeks, months, and years, those choices accumulate and determine your path. As the saying goes, bad habits are like a comfortable bed, easy to get into, but hard to get out of. The good news is, the reverse is also true. Building positive habits may feel challenging at first, but with consistency, they become second nature. Start small. Maybe it's a daily 10-minute walk, journaling your thoughts each morning, or dedicating a few minutes to mindfulness. Celebrate these small victories because each one represents a step forward. Success isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. But here's the thing. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, progress feels slow or even non-existent. That brings us to the fifth principle, trusting the process. Life has a way of testing your patience. You put in the work, make the sacrifices, and yet, the results seem elusive. It's during these moments that doubt creeps in, whispering, "What if it's all for nothing?" Let me remind you of a simple truth. Growth takes time. Think of a caterpillar in a cocoon. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, but inside, transformation is underway. Similarly, the work you're doing now may not yield visible results immediately, but that doesn't mean it's not working. Trust that every effort, every setback, every triumph is shaping you into the person you're meant to be. Sometimes, things have to fall apart to make way for something better. A lost job might lead you to discover your true calling. A painful breakup might teach you what you truly deserve. It's hard to see in the moment, but with time, clarity comes. Trust the process. Let go of the need to control everything. And instead, focus on what you can do today to move forward. The future is unwritten, and your actions today are the pen that writes your story. Now, while you're trusting the process, it's essential to remember what truly matters. And that's the sixth principle, valuing experiences over possessions. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the race for material success. A bigger house, a faster car, the latest gadgets. We chase these things, hoping they'll bring happiness. But have you ever bought something expensive, only to feel the excitement fade after a few days? The truth is, the things that bring lasting joy aren't things at all. They're experiences. Think about the moments that have truly touched your heart, sharing laughter with a friend, watching a breathtaking sunset, or achieving a goal you worked hard for. These are the memories that stay with you, long after the material possessions have lost their shine. This doesn't mean money isn't important. It's a tool, but it's not the goal. Use it to create meaningful experiences, whether it's traveling to a place you've always wanted to visit, learning a new skill, or simply spending quality time with loved ones. Don't let material wealth define you. Let your life be rich with purpose, connection, and authenticity. In conclusion, your habits are the seeds you plant today for the future you want to harvest. Trust that every step, no matter how small, is part of a larger process leading you to growth. And as you journey forward, remember to focus on what truly matters, experiences, not possessions. Life is too short to chase the wrong things. Invest in the moments that make you feel alive. the people who uplift you, and the goals that ignite your passion. So, as you reflect on these principles, ask yourself, what habits am I cultivating today? Am I trusting the process of my journey? Am I prioritizing memories over material things? Your answers will guide you toward a life that's not just lived, but truly experienced. Now, have you ever stopped to think about how powerful your mind is? Every decision you make, every reaction you have, every dream you chase, it all begins in your mind. This brings us to the seventh principle, harnessing the strength of your mind. Your mind is your greatest tool, but it can also be your greatest challenge. A negative mindset will never lead to a positive life. So how do you take control of this incredible yet sometimes unruly force? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. How often do you find yourself thinking, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough? These thoughts may seem harmless, but over time, they create a pattern that limits your potential. Instead of focusing on obstacles, train your mind to see opportunities. For example, think about a time when you faced a challenge you thought was impossible to overcome. Maybe it was a difficult exam, a tough conversation, or a personal setback. At the time, it felt insurmountable, didn't it? But you got through it. You found solutions, drew strength you didn't know you had, and emerged stronger. Remind yourself of those victories whenever you're faced with doubt. You've overcome hardships before, and you will again. Mindfulness is another powerful tool. In today's fast-paced world, our minds are constantly racing, worrying about the future, regretting the past. But by staying present, you can quiet the noise of overthinking and self-doubt. Mindfulness isn't just about meditation. It's about fully engaging in the moment, whether you're having a conversation, enjoying a meal, or simply taking a walk. When you train your mind to stay focused, you approach life's challenges with clarity and confidence. As you strengthen your mind, another important realization emerges: knowing your worth, the eighth principle. Far too often, we let others define our value. A critical comment, a rejection, or even a lack of acknowledgement can make us question our abilities. But let me tell you this: your worth is not determined by anyone else. Confidence isn't about arrogance, it's about recognizing your strengths and embracing your imperfections. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You are enough, just as you are. Imagine how your life would change if you stopped seeking validation from others. What if you stopped trying to fit into someone else's mold and instead embraced your unique qualities? Knowing your worth also means seeking respect, not attention. Attention is fleeting. It comes and goes. But respect, that's lasting. It's built on authenticity, not pretense. So, the next time you find yourself doubting your value, remember this: the most important person who needs to see your worth is you. While strengthening your mind and recognizing your worth, you'll often find yourself alone. This brings us to the ninth principle, embracing solitude. Many people mistake solitude for loneliness, but they are not the same. Loneliness is a feeling of being disconnected, while solitude is a choice to reconnect with yourself. Think about it. When was the last time you truly sat with yourself, without distractions, and reflected on your life? In solitude, you find clarity. You discover your goals, assess your progress, and realign with your values. This is where true growth happens. Yes, solitude can feel uncomfortable at first. We live in a world that's always on, with constant notifications, conversations, and noise. The quiet can feel unsettling. But it's in this quiet that you hear your inner voice. It's in this space that you figure out what you truly want, away from the influence of others. Growth often comes at a cost, and sometimes that cost is loneliness. But this phase is temporary. Think of solitude as a cocoon, a necessary stage for transformation. Embrace it, knowing it's not a permanent state, but a stepping stone toward becoming the best version of yourself. To sum up, your mind is your greatest ally when you learn to harness its power. Knowing your worth gives you the strength to stand tall, even when others fail to see your value. And solitude, It's not something to fear, but a gift. A chance to rediscover yourself and your purpose. So let me ask you, are you ready to take control of your mind? Are you ready to value yourself as you are, without needing anyone's approval? And are you willing to embrace the quiet moments of solitude as a time for growth? When you do, you'll find that the strength you've been searching for has been within you all along. Have you ever made a mistake so big that you wished you could hit a reset button? We all have. But what if I told you that mistakes aren't failures, they're lessons? This brings us to the 10th principle, learning from mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable. They're a part of life, a part of growth. Imagine a toddler learning to walk. They stumble, fall, and sometimes cry, but they get back up. With each fall, they learn balance and coordination. The same principle applies to us as adults. Each mistake is an opportunity to learn, not just about what went wrong, but about our resilience and capacity to improve. Think about a time when you messed up. Maybe it was a missed opportunity, a broken promise, or a poor decision. At first, it felt like the end of the world, didn't it? But when you look back, you realize that experience taught you something valuable. It might have shown you what not to do, or it might have pushed you to try harder. Regret often stems not from the mistakes we make, but from the chances we didn't take. Life is too short to let fear of failure hold you back. Every mistake is a stepping stone to success. So the next time you falter, don't dwell on it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? The answers will guide you forward. As we navigate through our mistakes, one thing becomes clear: we can't do it alone. This brings us to the 11th principle, fostering meaningful relationships. At the end of the day, it's not what we have, but who we have that matters. Think about the people in your life, the ones who stand by you, cheer for you, and pick you up when you fall. True friends and loving family members are rare, and their support is invaluable. Yet, relationships require effort. They thrive on trust, communication, and mutual respect. Have you ever been in a toxic relationship, one where you felt drained instead of uplifted? Letting go of such relationships is hard but necessary. It creates space for positive connections to flourish. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you to grow, and who accept you as you are. Remember this simple philosophy: love people, not things. Use things, not people. In a world that often prioritizes material success, it's easy to forget that relationships are the true cornerstone of a fulfilling life. Cherish the people who matter. Spend time with them. Listen to them. Celebrate their successes and be there for their struggles. These moments of connection are what make life truly rich. While building meaningful relationships, we must also practice the 12th principle, patience and faith. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get frustrated when things don't happen as quickly as we'd like. Whether it's achieving a goal, finding love, or overcoming a challenge, patience often feels like a test. But here's the thing: good things take time. Think of a farmer planting seeds. They can't force the crops to grow overnight. They have to trust the process, nurture the soil, and wait for the harvest. The same is true for our lives. Progress isn't always immediate, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. Faith plays a crucial role here. Whether you believe in God, the universe, or simply the power of persistence, trust that everything is unfolding as it should. It's not about blind optimism, but about believing that your efforts, combined with time, will lead to the outcomes you seek. Patience also means being kind to yourself during the waiting period. It's easy to compare yourself to others and feel like you're falling behind. But remember, everyone's journey is unique. What's meant for you will find its way to you in its own time. So, as you reflect on these principles, ask yourself, am I learning from my mistakes, or am I letting them define me? Am I nurturing relationships that add value to my life, or am I holding on to connections that no longer serve me? And am I practicing patience and faith, trusting that my journey is unfolding as it should? When you embrace these principles, you'll find a sense of peace. you'll realize that mistakes are lessons, relationships are treasures, and patience is a strength, not a weakness. So keep moving forward, one step at a time. Trust the journey, cherish your connections, and have faith that the best is yet to come. Thank you.